This Cold Rhymes podcast, episode 92. There's a meeting in my bedroom, as Brian McKnight said. We're chilling in this bed together. How do you feel, my man?
For those just listening on the audio, it's not what you think. Much to maybe your chagrin. I'm doing all right. Day off. We're here in Biddeford, Maine.
That's right.
We got this Amato's Pizza. Feeling all right. Got these Circle K coffees going, and we're returning. Last week, there was no podcast. Period.
Right.
We were in Philadelphia, and we were about to record. We got in late, and we got into Donnie's spot, I Alive spot, and had a lot of weird issues. And then it was on top of that, like, he was trying to sleep, his lady's trying to sleep, cats are trying to sleep. So it would have been some very ASMR style podcast, which maybe we can go into in the future. But let's go. But it wasn't. It didn't work out. So we just said fuck it, and now we're back. And I think this is all working now. But we were still, even before this, running into these sort of phantom sounds.
Yeah, man.
On the computer. What's that about?
Well, I was pretty scared that night because I don't believe in ghosts. Pretty much. No disrespect to anybody that's what they're into, and I know you do.
I do.
But I don't know, and I would prefer to continue to not believe in ghosts.
I think you're gonna be haunted now.
Yeah, I
mean,
not
am.
like
a not like haunted in a bad way, but just like a ghost is gonna like fuck with you.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think like I have my aunt Midori. She is into these Shinto kind of beliefs, and I think, I don't know if they would use the word ghosts, but ghosts are definitely like a part of it. Like,
what is the Shinto about?
Well, I can't really say, but I do know that, like, she feels like if like the neighbor like kills a deer or something, like she can like see the deer's spirit and stuff like that hanging around.
Shit.
And it just seems so complicated, and like I would just rather not. I think everything's complicated enough with just regular people and animals walking around, and
that deer's dead, and it's dead, and there's nothing floating anywhere.
Yeah, please, no. But I don't know. But when we heard these weird ass sounds coming out of my computer last week, so what it sounded like to me was that a ghost was watching us try to do the podcast and was like doing an impression of us doing the podcast. Like you were like, check, check, check. And I swear it was like a different voice coming back at us. Yeah, and I know like people will be like, oh, they just had the delay on or something. No, it was nothing like that. But so I don't know. Maybe you're listening to a haunted podcast. And if you listen to this, you might be followed, like we were being followed by ghosts, and it's just going to get worse for everybody.
I feel like it's like I'll say it's benevolent spirits, though. I don't think there's any malevolence from any of these ghosts or other beings. I think it's all
You're
good.
Right. Yeah, you might need some ghosts in your life. I hope no for all of us, but we'll see what happens. But break it down. How did it go down for you with these ghosts?
Well, I've had a couple. When I lived in Lake Orion, Michigan, for a brief period of time, and it was sort of like a ranch house, and I distinctly remember I was in my bedroom, and I heard the spurs of cowboy boots in like walking the hallway, kind of like towards my door. And if you know nothing about me, there's no cowboy boots in my family anywhere. Nobody's worn cowboy boots, especially with spurs. And I immediately kind of freaked out. I was probably in early teens, and I think my dad made a big kind of like joke about it of like, let's check it out, and like goes into the basement, hello, and just like over the top about it. And then years later he'd tell me, oh yeah, I heard those too. Like he heard them, but not at the same time. He heard it on a separate occasion. And my sister and my stepmom all heard them on separate occasions, like distinct like shashunk of like cowboy boots. So that's one. And then a little bit more recently, an ex of mine was talking about a friend who had passed, and she was saying a few days before this incident that she couldn't remember his voice. And when you lose somebody, that's a very tough thing, and you forget what their laugh sounds like or their voice or something. And she was putting her dog away she was going to work. I was near the front door, and she would put peanut butter on the cage to sort of calm down her dog while she was in the cage, and was pointing to it and saying, Stevie, it's right there. And then she had her phone and she was taking a video of it. And then I said, are you talking to somebody on your phone? And she said, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, I heard like a guy's voice. And she went and she checked the video, and sure enough, like, it was not my voice. You could hear I was very far away. And there was a radio in the background, but this was cutting through as if somebody was kind of overhead. And maybe I can just add that clip of audio to the audio version of this podcast or something. But it was really crazy. And then she had showed it to her friends, and they said, that's his voice. Like, I wanted to be a skeptic. I wanted to say, oh, well, there was a creak in the floor that sounded like a guy saying Steven. But it was very distinct that there was a male voice that was not mine, and that was the only other male voice in the house saying Steven. And it was so she kind of confirmed with a best friend of hers of like, this is dude's voice. So and there's video proof. So there's like, and I've tried it. We showed it to anybody that's tried to debunk it, and there's really nobody has been able to. And then in some ways, I almost at this point don't want them to. I just kind of like, it was nice that dude was watching over. Like, I'm here, maybe just not in the realm. Not you don't see me physically, but I am. I'm all around.
Yeah, I will say I can't explain that video, and nor would I want to, make any comments or anything like that. But like, it's a pretty benevolent kind of thing. It's not like dude's like out to get anybody.
For sure. So I believe in the ghosts, and whether that was what's happening here or it was just shit technology, I'm not really sure. But needless to say, we're back here for another episode of the podcast, and I'm really I'm happy about that.
Yeah. Well, so we've been out on this tour once again. We had this little in-between period between leg 1 and leg 2. Donovan described it as the crotch of the tour, and I can definitely agree, because it's just like
the time off is the crotch.
Yeah, because it's just, it's funky, and it's like you're just taking care of business, and well, first of all, tell me, how was your time off?
How was my crotch?
Yeah.
It was all right. I moved, so it was just like, I like the tour. I mean, we did a lot of touring somewhat recently. We toured the whole country for almost 3 months, and doing a show almost every night. And I almost like that style a little bit more. Having the 2 weeks off is kind of tricky, because you're on this high of doing shows every night, and then to just stop completely for a couple weeks and then to pick it back up is sort of tricky to your body, and just kind of going back into a normal routine just to get out of it again. So, after the shows, I went back to Detroit, and then I moved into a new house, and then just working a bunch, and then kind of had to leave everything in a sort of a half state. and then
Yeah.
then head back on the road. So it went by pretty quick, just because it was just everything is just sort of, it was in a mild state of disarray. But I'm glad we're back on the road doing the thing, and so yeah, it took a little bit to get back into this mode, but I'm feeling all right. So yeah, it was a lot of work and moving boxes from one place to another. What was your crotch like?
Man,
I'm gonna stop saying it like that.
it sucked. It really did suck. Yeah, it was just a whole lot of work stuff until the very end. Even I picked you up from the airport, like, oh, I got to run a couple errands after I picked Brian up. Ended up taking you back to my house, dropping you off because it just did not stop with this work. But that's how it goes. And that's like, I guess, the only way to make it happen sometimes, with like burning this candle at both ends,
Yeah.
But that was cool. How do you feel to be back on the road?
I feel good. Similarly, we've had a few days off, which is sort of a different thing. And sometimes, like, the first leg was just show done. And so, again, you just knew every night, like, oh, I got a show, and then I'll do the thing, and then, keep it moving. So having the off days, just try to make them as productive as possible, kind of like organize the merch today, and just catching up on some other like freelance duties and all that stuff. But I've liked the show so far. They've been good. Are we like a little under halfway through, or by the time this drops, about halfway through?
I'd say by the time it drops, almost halfway.
Almost halfway through. So the shows have been good. And it's just it's the grind. So I feel like maybe I'm feeling it more this time because of the time off, of just feeling like my body hasn't acclimated completely to, like, we're back on the tour grind. Right. But that isn't to say that I will be coming with any less than 100% energy in these shows.
I know that's right.
So we have to, that's like a whole thing. I feel like it doesn't matter what I'm feeling like. Like, if people came to the show, who gives a shit if I'm tired or like, I had to work or whatever. Like,
right.
I will, like, we're here to give the best show that we possibly can. So we got Jane is not on this leg of the tour, but we still have Dan running lights and sound. He is off camera, but he makes a major difference to have a sound person, so what it's going to sound like every night, what it's going to look like every night, because a lot of times you do not have that on your side. You'll have to deal with maybe a sound guy that's had a real shitty day and doesn't feel like talking to the out-of-town act, and kind of half sabotages your set. So we've been on the receiving end of that enough times. So having the consistency night in, night out feels very good. So yeah, I'm feeling overall, I'm feeling good. It's been the headspace has been kind of like tricky, but I'm working it out. How's it on your end?
It's good. It's good. As I've kind of said maybe on some of the past episodes of the podcast, I'm kind of in a weird place with like touring, where I'm a little like, I've played this city 25 times, and like just kind of like, what's it gonna take to not make it like this, or which I think any and all musicians can relate to. But I'm holding it down. Before we kick off these songs, let's let them know about these dates for this week.
I feel like you're better with this than me, so why don't you hit them with the dates?
Okay, so today, Thursday, we're going to be playing at Desperate Annie's in Saratoga Springs, New York.
Yes.
Then we're heading up to Kingston, Ontario, at the Toucan. Always a fire show.
Absolutely.
Um,
I think real quick. I've been doing veggie tour. I might have to break it for the poutine.
Let's go.
Because it's like, it's like a great, it's not a real, like, it's like not chunks of meat, you know what I mean? And I'm like, different country. I don't, I can get poutine in the States. It's not the same. So
I agree.
So we'll go in.
All right. Buffalo, Sugar City. And then we're taking it to Toledo, where I'm drawing a blank on the name. Do you got it?
Holland House.
Got it.
I got it.
And then we're also playing Saginaw at Counterculture, Port Huron at Schwank Soundstead.
Grand Rapids is at Metro.
Yes. Grand Rapids is at Metro, and Detroit at Deluxe Flux.
The Deluxe Flux one will be fun. It's the last day of the tour, and it's a skeleton party. So I'll be doing a promo soon enough about it, but basically you just dress up as a skeleton. If it's a costume party, but it's just skeleton only. So you're not dressing as the Wolfman. You're not dressing as Ross from Friends or Wayne's World. It's just skeletons only. You could be a skeleton Garth or a skeleton Wayne. That's totally cool. But a skeleton is necessary. And I'm really looking forward to that show. It's going to be a good time.
And I want to say, in Cold Rhymes news, 2 items. First of all, a reminder to check out that new debut album by Andrew.
Yes.
Secondly, I want to say, stay tuned for later this week, a surprise Cold Rhymes digital reissue.
Ooh.
So stay tuned. I guess let them know real quick where they can check out this Cold Rhymes stuff.
Well, check out the website, coldrhymesrecords.com, as well as the Bandcamp. We still have the subscription going. You can get past, present, and future Cold Rhymes releases, as well as some exclusives, mixes from Hike, Keach, and I Alive. At Twitter and Instagram is Cold Rhymes Label. You can get more on the tour at hikekeach.com/rawroutes. More info on me at heyitsmister.com. And I believe that is about all of the links that I can remember right now.
All right. Peep us on anywhere else except YouTube to hear these songs we're about to play. And thank you for listening.